If you've been running your medspa for more than a year, spending more money on ads, posting content, maybe even hiring a marketing team, and your revenue still feels inconsistent, I need you to hear this. The problem is not your ad, it's not your content, and it's not your team, and it's definitely not the market. The problem is that no one ever told you that there are only two levers that grows a medspa, and most owners are only pulling one of them and they're pulling it halfway. And the ones that they're ignoring is sitting right there in their CRM collecting dust. And here's the math that no one in this industry wants to talk about. If more people knows about what you sell more. And if you sell more, you make more money. And that's it. That's the whole game. But here's where it breaks down for almost every clinic I've ever looked at. They know how to get people through the door once, but they don't know how to make the same people worth 4, 5, and 6 times what they paid for on the first visit. So what they keep doing is they keep running ads, they keep spending, and they keep starting every month at zero, and the cycle never ends. And today I'm going to show you the two strategies that actually break that cycle. And it's not theory, it's real math and real numbers. And when you see what's possible, I think you're going to be uncomfortable with how simple this actually is. Let's get into it. So what you're looking at is what most clinics are currently doing and what can actually grow your clinic. So what most clinics are doing, they spend more money on ads with a broken backend. They ignore the CRM, which turns warm lead into cold leads. They start each month with $0 in booked revenue. They keep having to chase new leads to replace the old one that ghosted them. And marketing starts feeling like a hamster wheel. And what actually grows your clinic, you spend on ads and have a system to capture lead at every step of the funnel. You have a reactivation campaign that can reactivate dead leads, and that bring instant revenue from zero ad spend. And you start each month with a base of retained patients, and you increase your patient lifetime value so that your patients is worth 3, 4, even 5 times more. And now marketing compounds, and every dollar that you put in works even harder. So let me describe what your clinic is right now, and let me know if this sounds familiar. You run ads, leads come in, some of them book, but most of them don't. And your front desk follow up once, maybe twice, then the lead goes into a CRM that no one ever touches again. And 6 months later, you have hundreds, if not thousands of leads in your CRM. And those are people who raise their hands, they fill out a form, they raise their hands, they showed you that they were interested, but you just never bothered to call them back, right? And that is not a lead problem, that is a leak that is in your system. And on the retention side, your existing patients, they come in for treatments, they have a great experience, and nothing else happen after, right? No follow-up, no reason to come back sooner, no system designed to make them a loyal repeat patients. And so what happened is they drift, they forget, they find another clinic, and you have to spend hundreds of dollars just to replace that same patient that you once had, right? And that's what I mean when I say most clinics start every month at zero. And they don't only start at zero, but they have to work twice as hard when you don't have a retention marketing in place. The average medspa has around 60% to even 80% of leads in their CRM that has never been contacted. And this alone results in $8,000 to even $25,000 a month in dead revenue. And this alone, you could simply activate this with a simple text message and a simple phone call. And the average days before leads get cold is around 24 hours for the average clinic. And every hour that you wait, the lower the show rate becomes for that client, for that patient. And thirdly, a lot of you guys are following up with the lead once or twice when the industry average is around 8 to even 12 touches. Since we have a done-for-you service, we have a call center within our offer that we place into all of our clients that we have. And one of the conversations that we always talk to the call center is that they have to follow the system and the framework and the SOPs that we give them, right? We don't just reach out to a lead just once. We reach out to them multiple times throughout the day, 5, if not 6, or even 7 times, right? If we call them the first time, they don't answer, we double dial. And if they don't answer, we wait 2 hours and we call them again. If they don't answer, we double dial. And we keep repeating that process until that patient specifically let us know that they're not interested. And when they're not interested, we don't just delete that lead in the CRM. We place them in a reactivation campaign to get them re-engaged so that they could come back to the clinic, right? And that's what a lot of you guys are missing. And you could increase your conversion rate significantly just by following up with your leads a lot more than you guys do, right? So now let's just put a number to this because I want you guys to actually see this and how it works. The average medspa, if you treat them once and never follow up again, is worth around $300 to even $400, sometimes $600, and that's only one visit. But a retained patient, one that comes back 4, 5, and 6 times a year, that same person is worth $1,400 to even $2,800, all without you having to spend extra money on ads. So when I look at a clinic with over 500 leads in their CRM, I don't see a list of people who said no. What I see is $8,000 minimum sitting there untouched. So when I look at a clinic who's not doing any reactivation campaign on their past patients, I see a clinic who's working 4 times harder when they don't have to. You're not behind because the market is saturated. You're behind because the system that you have is not built for growth, but it's built for leak. And this chart that you're seeing is, and this chart that we're looking at is the people who are only doing acquisition and people who are currently doing acquisition and retention. All right. The people that are doing acquisition, they start every month at $0. And to get to generate new patient, it costs around $180 to even $350. And the patient lifetime value, they only come once, and that's around $350 on average. And you cannot scale predictably. So you start every month at 0. So you just hope and pray someone come in. The clinic that are running an acquisition funnel with a retention campaign, they start every month with around $12,000 to even $30,000, and it costs them anywhere from $18 to even $45 just to get new patients. And the patient lifetime value is around $1,400 to even $2,800. And those are people from, from memberships. Those are people who committed into multiple sessions. And what you're seeing here is the 2 levers. And I want to be clear. You need to run both. You can't just run one without the other one. The first lever, we have to get more people to know about what you sell. That means paid ads. That means content that reach out to people who have never heard of you guys. That means showing up in front of the right audience at the right place at the right times, because more awareness equals to more leads, and more leads when you have the right system equals to more revenue. And this is the part that most clinics actually understand. But what they always get wrong is thinking that more leads alone will fix the problem, right? So they keep spending more and more money on ads, and the revenue goes up a little, but the stress goes up a lot because they're trying to work on a broken system. When you have a broken backend, your system is built for leak. You're just going to keep leaking at every step of the funnel, and it's not worth it. The second lever is to make sure that the patients you already have worth more. And this is the one thing that changes everything, right? When you have a system, a real system that can take them from opt-in and walks them all the way through to even a booked appointments, consultations, even a second visit, to make sure that, you guys are sending reviews and reactivation campaigns 6 months later. That's when scaling stops feeling like a grind and start feeling like leverage, because you're no longer starting at 0, you're starting with a base. And when you add more ad spend on top of that base, every dollar works harder, every leads matter more, and every campaign compounds. And that is the game, and most clinics are not playing it. And this upside down pyramid is where we take all of our clients. It's very simple. A lot of you guys are complicating this, but it's very simple. All you guys need is, whenever someone opts in, they get sent a message. You reach out to this prospect, get them booked. Make sure you send them resources. Make sure you send them reminders, 24 hours reminders, 5 hours, 3 hours until they come for the consultation. You guys need to send them a post-consultation text, review requests, and reactivation campaigns 3 months later, even if not 6 months later. You could do that sooner if you'd like. This process itself could take you a day, if not 2 weeks, 3 weeks, right? All you have to do is just make sure you stay stuck to the process, to the plan, and stay persistent and consistent enough. And I want to show you what this looks like when it actually works. So we work with the clinic, single location, and they have been in business for 4 years, and they were spending about $8,000 a month on ads, right? And with that spend, they were getting a decent lead volume with a terrible conversion rate, and their retention was almost non-existent, right? In the first 30 days of fixing the backend, not the ads, just the backend, their booked revenue increased by over 40% with the same ad spend, same leads, completely different results, and completely different outcome. In month 3, we activated the reactivation piece that was missing, and they had over 600 leads in their CRM, and those are past people they hadn't reached out to in over a year. Within 60 days, they converted 11% of that list, and that is 66 patients from 0 ad spend, right? And the year-over-year revenue difference for that clinic was over $300,000. Same market, same services, different system, different outcome, and different results. So now let's talk about the gap that you have in your clinic. The gap between where that clinic was and where they ended up being is not a gap in knowledge. You just watch me describe and break down both levers. You understand the math and you know the problem. The gap is in the system itself. There is a specific piece of infrastructure, and the thing that takes a lead from point A and walks them all the way to point Z without skipping over a step. And that's what most clinics don't have. And the reason they don't have it isn't because they cannot afford it. It's because no one has ever built it in a way that actually works for them. And that's the part I'm not going to explain here, because it's more than a 12 minutes conversation. And it's not because I'm withholding this, but explaining it isn't going to help you and it's not going to fix anything. But seeing it built inside your clinic and specifically to your needs, specifically to your needs, to your situation, that's what's going to change things, right? So if you feel like this is the piece that you're missing, you're running ads, you have leads in your CRM, you know that you should be converting a lot faster, a lot more, and a lot sooner, but you feel like your revenue is still non-existent or just flat, just go into the description below and apply to work with us. And on that call, we'll try to understand exactly your bottleneck and what's been holding you guys for so long. And we'll create and map out the exact plan that's going to help your clinic grow, take your clinic to the next level, to the 6-figure, 7-figure mark that you've been seeking. Go in the link in the description and apply to work with us. And we work with a very small medspa per quarter. And it's not because we cannot handle the workload, but it's mainly because we can only work with one person per location. So if we're working with you, we cannot work with your competitors. So if that interests you, or maybe you feel any part of anything that I said kind of resonate with you, go ahead and click the link in the description and apply to work with us. Thank you for watching.